Hello. Did you know that monkeys could be considered as more intelligent than humans? Bear with me, I'll explain. Research has shown that monkeys will adapt to new ideas more quickly than humans. When a monkey is presented with a quicker, easier, better way of performing a task, it will adopt the better approach, whereas humans will tend to stay with their own tried and trusted methods. I'll explain this research later. You see, humans are averse to change. We dislike new ideas, new ways of working. We dislike change. And a good example of this has appeared as a result of the Covid-19 crisis. The Covid-19 crisis has had some profound effects on society and the way we live. One of those is the fact that with so few people travelling to and from work, the roads have become much quieter and public transport is now much quieter, as people obviously try to avoid being in close proximity to other people. Now, as the number of COVID-19 cases starts to fall, it's essential that the government show us a plan that tells the people who cannot go to work currently how they can start going to work again. In order to do this, the Transport Secretary in the UK announced that a lot of money would be invested in making active travel easier. So easier and safer to ride your bicycle to work and to walk to work. If more people rode their bike to work or walked, then fewer people would be on the buses and trains, so infection spread would be limited. There's also the general health benefits of walking and cycling in terms of cardiovascular health and mental health. So the Transport Secretary's announcement was met with a polarised response on social media. As I saw, all of the Twitter users who cycle welcomed the announcement, and the Twitter users who don't cycle were, it seems, very often highly critical of the announcement. The sort of response from these people were like this: I live 20, 40, 60 miles from work, and you can't expect me to ride a bike to work. Therefore, I have to drive, or I have to take the train, or I fit floors or gas boilers or electrical equipment for a living, so I need to carry loads of equipment in a van. Or what about when it's raining? You can't expect people to ride a bike in the rain. So these people often see this investment as a waste of money which could be perhaps better spent on more road space. Cycling Twitter responded to these arguments with simple facts like nobody is forcing anyone to ride a bike to work. Riding a bike is just being made easier and more attractive. And of course, more bicycles means fewer cars, which means quicker journeys for those who are in cars. Unfortunately, these fairly simple to grasp arguments, all based on simple facts, tend to fall on deaf ears. Why is that? Because people, unlike monkeys, dislike change. Even when the change can be presented as a positive, like fewer cars to delay other cars' journeys, people still dislike and avoid change. So let's consider the reasons for that. These ideas are fairly well researched, particularly in the field of human resources management. And most of the following points come from Rosabeth Moss-Kanter, a professor at Harvard University. The first reason is loss of control. Change interferes with people's autonomy, their ability to make their own decisions, which means they feel like they've lost control over their own territory. I suppose in this case, people can take the words of the transport minister to mean everyone should walk or cycle and not just those who can. Second reason is too much uncertainty. If the change is too much, too quickly, people will reject it. People will often prefer to stick with the status quo, even if that situation is a poor one and makes them unhappy. The idea of better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. I'm guessing the Twitter critics of the idea would prefer to sit in their cars in traffic jams every day or stand on crowded commuter trains and try something different. Third reason is surprise. Decisions made suddenly with no time to get used to the new idea or to prepare for the consequences, are generally resisted by people. In this case, there has been only a few days between the government suggesting that the COVID-19 lockdown might end and this plan to spend a lot of money quickly on active travel infrastructure. So it's come as something of a surprise. Number 4 is about big differences. Change is, of course, meant to bring something different, but we're all creatures of habit. Our commuting routines are automatic. So a big change like this is always going to be met with some resistance. But better, if possible, to have a gentle introduction to the change. Pull factors to encourage active travel and push factors to encourage people away from their cars. Number 5 is loss of face. The person who has spent a large amount of money on a nice shiny car is unlikely to want to give up the privilege of driving it, even if driving it means sitting in traffic jams, because that would suggest that they made a poor choice. Number 6, and the last one, is ability and competence. Questions like, can I do it? I haven't ridden a bike for years. Can I ride it 10 miles, 10 kilometers even? Is it safe to ride a bike? Will I look stupid on a bike? How will I carry all my work stuff? Change is resisted when it makes people feel or look stupid. And the answers to these questions are usually, yes, you can, yes, it is, no, you won't look silly, and yes, you can overcome the problems of carrying things. But when presented with so many questions, it's easier just to say no. There are other reasons, but those 6 seem to me to be the most pertinent in this situation, and they may explain why monkeys are more intelligent than humans in that particular way. So I'll briefly explain this study. Watzek, Pope and Brosnan in 2019 published this study looking into the mental ability of humans and monkeys to adapt to new ways of doing things. The participants, 60 humans, 22 capuchin monkeys and 7 rhesus macaques, followed a set of rules to complete a task. And then midway through the study, the rules changed to see how well the monkeys and humans adapted to this change in the rules. The change actually made the task easier and more efficient, which meant that the reward for completing the task could be received more quickly if the new rule was applied. All 29 monkeys adapted to the new rule quickly compared to just 39% of the humans. In fact, around 70% of both the capuchin monkeys and the rhesus macaques used the shortcut the first time that it was available, compared to only 2% of humans. So that's an excellent example of how humans are resistant to change. Going back to the active travel now, I think that in the face of this deep-seated resistance to change, the goal of getting people to work by cycling and walking in the days and weeks immediately after the COVID-19 lockdown crisis is almost a lost cause. But in the longer term, it is perhaps more achievable. The perceived safety aspect is vital in this respect. And if change is not foisted upon people, but offered as an option, then reasons 1 to 4 may become less of a problem. So hopefully it works. Thank you.